What are your thoughts on everything you're discussing here with the approach in the book of Ecclesiastes, talking about everything's meaningless and going from there?
Yeah, Ecclesiastes is a really fascinating book. And I think part of the way to read Ecclesiastes well is in concert with two other books in the Bible, particularly Job and the Proverbs. And I think what the community of the Hebrew people was doing was saying there's no way to capture all of our wisdom in one approach, and we need these different ways. So Ecclesiastes tells you, look, nothing's meaningful, so enjoy whatever's in front of you right now. Enjoy food, enjoy wine, love your life, because it doesn't matter in the end anyway. There's something really profound and beautiful about that. Like, I don't need my life to be world-changing. It can be beautiful and I can enjoy it right now, and I don't need that existential meaning attached to it. There's also Job who tells us, you know what? Even if you do everything right, your life can be a disaster. And even in the midst of that, you can still hold true to your ideals and the things that you value. And even in that, God will be present to you and honor you in that. And then you got the Proverbs that are like, actually, if you're smart, if you're wise, life will be perfect for you. And I think what the Hebrew Scriptures are doing is saying, yeah, sometimes this, sometimes a little bit of this. And it's not as simple as one approach. We have to pull all of that wisdom in, and we have to embrace the complexity of it all. And I think that actually lines up pretty well with some of the things I'm saying tonight, that when we learn to savor small moments, they can lead us to doing well with disappointment. They can lead us to celebrating well when things go well. They can lead us to suffering and being joyful in the midst of that, even when we don't want to be there. And that's a hard lesson for all of us, but it's one I think I'm working on. Bobby, thoughts on that?
Do I have anything to add? If I could just steer us back to the story, maybe. It strikes me that this story of Abraham and Sarah and this divine visitation comes between two really intense stories. Like one being, as Jeremy referenced, this story of circumcision and identity. And the next one is Sodom and Gomorrah. Like cities, terrible cities, Abraham pleading, will anyone be saved in these cities of doom and destruction? And there's this respite in this moment of simplicity and welcome and eating that had me thinking about joy in a little bit of a different way, like in terms of like the places of tension in the conversation of the text. Like there's this oasis of some sort of bliss between these two like really intense stories. And when I thought about my own week, just this week, the moment that held, I think I'm going to say something of joy, was this moment on FaceTime with my little niece who's 8. And she encountered loss in the form of death this week, and she's 8. And there was this moment where my sister gave her permission to take her the iPhone to her room and just have some time with her Auntie Bobby. And I watched her little face as we took deep breaths together. And I thought, this is one of the most beautiful moments I've ever had with this little girl who's so close to me. I carried it around like it was a thing of like that our relationship is such a thing of joy, even in the midst of this little girl encountering an incredible loss that she couldn't even kind of catch her breath. That there's something about the way, I think joy can save us. I think joy can save our hearts, our bodies, our relationships, and it will be found like back to back, maybe right in the middle of something that like takes our breath away. If you've been around some folks who've experienced tremendous trauma in their lives, they are saved through their laughter. They find abilities and ways of laughing even in the midst of like a really complicated story on this side of them and a really complicated story on this side of them. So I love this idea that like, it seems like there are these contradictions, and maybe when we step toward them, that's actually where we encounter something really true and, dare we say, even strangely joyful.
Yeah, I think that's really why we're having this conversation, this series, is joy's not always happy, right? It's the thing that carries us through all those moments. So I love that, bringing up Ecclesiastes and Job and Proverbs and even this story around it. I hope we can get to all of that in this series, but there we go. You want to do one more? You got a question? Throw up a hand. We'll take that first. We got a text? Let's grab that.
Yeah, 100%. Well, this one also, Bobby, that was the most gorgeous thing I've ever heard in my life. So, cool. I'm just taking a minute. Anyways, but yes, there is something. So it was kind of directed at Bobby, but I mean, Jer, if you have more as well, I want to hear more about your mundane rituals. Or like heavy air quotes.
Yeah, I talked to my dog walk.
rituals.
Let's hear what you got.
My gosh, I love rituals. I love them. I start every single day with yoga, and part of it was because I live with some amount of pain, and I kind of don't know myself apart from that simple, like, being in my body. It's like the one time I like turn off the podcast, turn off the audiobook, and just be present to my body and to my breath. So that's really important to me. I'm a reader. I read a little bit every single day. That's really important to me. I live with someone, I've lived with someone for the last, how long have I been married? 8 years maybe. And it's interesting how our language together almost forms liturgy. Like there are like the certain ways we always speak to each other. Lately, Jonathan will come home and just open the door and be like, "Lady!" And I don't know where it came from, but it's a weird kind of like liturgy of like, I call to you, and it's hilarious and beautiful and weird. If you would have told feminist me, like 5 years ago, this person you love is gonna walk in the door, not even say your name, he's just gonna say, "Lady!" And that was going to be really endearing. I don't know. There's a way that language has formed ritual around me in surprising ways, joyful ways, odd ways. Walks are really important to me. I think the way that our body like works out things when we do this, like move your legs, move your arms. There's a name for it. I can't remember it now. Anybody? Bilateral stimulation. That's it. Just what that does for like how you work out, what's going on for you is incredible. There are more, but there's some.
Cool. You guys know my routines. I walk my dog and I wear the same clothes every day, so there we go.